In this question, we're told that Olivia and Jessica have in total half as many sweets as Fran and Gary have in total. We're told that Fran and Gary share their sweets in the ratio 2 to 3, and that Olivia and Jessica share their sweets in the ratio 9 to 1. We're told that Fran got W sweets, Gary got X sweets, Olivia got Y sweets, and Jessica got Z sweets. And we need to find, in its simplest form, W to X to Y to Z. And so we can find out how many sweets that each person got. Let's start by adding some numbers to help make this a little bit clearer. If Olivia and Jessica have in total half as many sweets as Fran and Gary have in total, we can say that Olivia and Jessica have in total 50 sweets. And this is just any number that we can use, as long as it fits what the question is saying. Now if Olivia and Jessica have half as many sweets as Fran and Gary have, we can say that Fran and Gary have double what Olivia have, and so double 50 is equal to 100. And so we've said so far that Olivia and Jessica have 50 sweets, and Fran and Gary have 100 sweets. Now let's take a look at the ratios. We're told that Fran and Gary share their sweets in the ratio 2 to 3. Now 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, and so this ratio corresponds to 5 parts. We also said that Fran and Gary have in total 100 sweets, and so we can say that these 5 parts represent 100 sweets. We can find the value of 1 part, therefore, by dividing both sides by 5, and so 100 divided by 5 is equal to 20. 1 part is equal to 20 sweets. We know that Fran has 2 parts, and Gary has 3 parts, and so we can say that Fran has 2 times 20, which is equal to 40 sweets, and Gary has 3 times 20, which is equal to 60 sweets. And so we've found that Fran has 40 sweets and Gary has 60 sweets. We can do the exact same thing for Olivia and Jessica. Olivia and Jessica share their sweets in the ratio 9 to 1. We know that this corresponds to a total of 9 plus 1, which is equal to 10 parts. Now Olivia and Jessica have 50 sweets in total, and so these 10 parts correspond to 50 sweets. We can find the value of 1 part by dividing both sides by 10, and so 50 divided by 10 is equal to 5. 1 part represents 5 sweets. We know that Olivia gets 9 parts and Jessica gets 1 part, and so Olivia will get 9 times 5 equals 45 sweets, and Jessica has 1 times 5 equals 5 sweets. Well, now remember that we need to find the ratio W to X to Y to Z. We know that Fran got W sweets, Gary got X sweets, Olivia got Y sweets, and Jessica got Z sweets. Like we said, Fran has 40 sweets, Gary has 60, Olivia has 45, and Jessica has 5. And so the ratio W to X to Y to Z would be equal to 40 to 60 to 45 to 5. But now this question asks us to give our ratio in its simplest form, and so we can divide each parts by 5. 40 divided by 5 is equal to 8, 60 divided by 5 is 12, 45 divided by 5 is 9, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. And so in its simplest form, we found that the ratio W to X to Y to Z is equal to 8 to 12 to 9 to 1. And so we've now correctly found the ratio W to X to Y to Z in its simplest form. Now this question is worth 4 marks. We get the first mark for finding the number of sweets that Fran has and the number of sweets that Gary has. We get the second mark for finding the number of sweets that Olivia has and the number of sweets that Jessica has. We get the third mark for combining these ratios. And we get the fourth and final mark for simplifying this combined ratio into its simplest form, and we found that the ratio of W to X to Y to Z is equal to 8 to 12 to 9 to 1 in its simplest form, allowing us to get the full 4 marks needed in this question.